Okay, guys, we're back at it. You missed the Zoom. I put a background on and noticed that I have a piece of masking tape to make my horizon line. We talked about not having the horizon line in the middle, up or down, 2/3 or 1/3. So I used a little bit of salt and just put some wet on wet technique. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel that off, and I am reapplying the tape. I'm going to flip it over just so I can make sure that I get a good seal. And remember, when you're using masking tape, it's pretty important to make sure that you're rubbing it down, okay? Especially when I have some salt, because that might leak under there. So the reason we're doing this is because we want to make sure that you do the background first, and then we're going to paint the rest of the images. So I am just going to do a little bit of Payne's Gray here, and I am just applying a very light wash. I can always come back and darken this up, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So pretty common sense here. You've already done a lot of this. I just kind of want to talk to you again about painting the background before you do anything else, okay? Because it's going to be harder for you to paint around these objects, and most of these objects are going to be they're going to be more intense. They're going to be a brighter color than your background normally. So again, just painting this quickly. Now, one thing that we can do, I'll show you in just a sec here, is I am going to go ahead and put some cast shadows in. Okay, I'm not going to do them very dark, but I want to go ahead and get them in there. I can always darken them back up later. Just make sure I get a quick coat. Okay, I'm looking at my photograph, and I'm noticing that the cast shadows, and if you use a very, very wet wash, you probably won't really do this very well, but it does help. So we're just kind of put some cast shadows in there, darken around some of the images, get a little darker in there, and just underneath the hair there. Okay, so again, I'm at a standstill. I can't do much more until this dries. I'm going to go ahead and kind of even some things out, make sure that you don't have too many pools. Like I've got a pool right there. I'm going to want to kind of blot that out a little bit. A bit of that. Okay, so there that is. I'm going to take a break, let that dry, and I will see you in a little bit. I sped the process by drying it with my blow dryer and carefully taking up my tape. But you can see by me speeding the process and not letting it dry all the way, it allowed for a little bleeding. I'm going to take care of that in a little bit, and kind of take and just move that around with a wet brush so it doesn't leave any blotting. That's not too bad. Come in here and scrub and do some lift off, and I can come back in later and even perfect that even more. Next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to put in my pear. So I'm mixing the base color for my pear. And I'm just going to do layers. Those of you that did the watercolor video of the apple, this will be a little bit of review for you. So I'm glad that you went ahead and did that because it was a fun video to do. And I'm just putting in a base coat, very light. Now, while this is wet, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a little expressive color on this. I am going to add a little bit of purple. So I'm mixing a little bit of purple over here. And I am just going to bleed that in. Or it's going to be dark. Making that look kind of round at the bottom. And I'm not overly happy with that purple. Kind of bring that up. So I think I'm going to put in a smidgen of red. That's better. And notice that I'm making the outside of my pear a little darker. And I'm rinsing my brush, and I'm just moving that paint around so my object looks 3D. That's just one coat. Just one coat. I'm going to come back in and do some more. But I don't want it to dry or leave any backgrounds or any lines. So I'm smoothing it out really good. So I can't come over here and I can't paint my grapes, but I can go ahead and just blot in some color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that where I can, making sure that it's not next to anything wet. I'm going to do the same thing with my grapes, but I'm going to go ahead and put a base color on all of those first. So we'll do this. This will be the end of this video. I will let this dry, and I will pick up on a second video to show you how to do more three-dimensional qualities of your fruit and more cast shadows and things like that. So there you have it, and I'll see you in a little bit.